r/ask Reddit. What hobby do you enjoy that's cheap free? Hiking. Find parks or trails in your area and check them out. There are a lot of cool places to explore. To add to this, geocaching. People hide boxes and put the coordinates on the internet, so you go looking for them scavenger hunt style. Gets me outdoors on new hiking trails all the time I never would have considered. Reading books. My hobby is buying books. I have 14 books on my bookshelf I need to read, and I'm only buying more lol. I can't stop. I have a library in my house. 95% of my reading is done by audiobook. They're mostly books my wife or I have read, but many of them are hard copies I picked up after having read the book. I can relate. I look at it as subsidizing the local bookstore. Scroll through Reddit trying to find new hobbies and enjoyment but not actually getting anywhere. I have tried and hate almost all of the hobbies listed here. Working out. Even when stuck indoors self-isolating or whatever, there is a lot of stuff you can do without any equipment. Body weight stuff like press-ups, squats, sit-ups etc. See also, running. You can spend an obscene amount of money on shoes and clothes but you can also get shoes on clearance and wear a pair of old sweats to run in. There could be a slight possibility that we may, in fact, be in a video game, and that making the right sequence of steps, jumps, and crouches could activate cheats. For the past 6 weeks, I've been determined to figure these codes out, but so far I've only activated a sprained ankle and diarrhea. At the very least, it's exercise. I actually have honest talks with myself through writing. You'll be amazed how much reading your own thoughts can help you. I've kept a diary for the last 10 years. I find it really helpful to try figuring out why I think a certain way about something. Basically self-analysis. I'm no psychoanalyst, but for me it sure beats having to pay the fees they charge. Pouring river water in my socks. It's quick, it's easy and it's free. But why would I do it? It's quick, it's easy, and it's free. Cooking can be a pretty cheap hobby. I mean, you have to eat anyway. Might as well enjoy the processes of making your own food. Especially considering base ingredients can be really cheap, barring caviar or fresh vanilla bean. Enjoying nature. That's what me and the missus call it too. Baking. Most baking ingredients are cheap and you can end up saving money on not buying baked goods. Came here to say this. I bake all the bread for my household, which impresses some people terribly, and I'm always a little embarrassed because dude it's truly so little work, just needs a little attention, and it's true it can be very tricky to schedule if you're not home all day like I am, but well, I am. Easy peasy, much better bread for a fraction of the price. To add on to this, just cooking. Cooking is easier than baking because you can alter the ingredients. Change your cooking methods as you go along and taste what's happening in the pan bowl etc. Baking is kinda like magic, where you have to get the amounts and ratios just right to make the magic happen. Using other people's recipes is really important when you bake. Cooking and baking have truly preserved my mental health during the quarantines of the past year, I think. Cooking is expensive. You can skimp on everyday cooking but cooking as a hobby costs a lot. Playing tabletop role-playing games with friends. It can be an expensive hobby if you want it to be, but it can be totally free too. All you need are a couple of friends, a rule set, and a pencil and paper. Dice are nice too but technically you can get away with an app or just Google. Row. I scrolled a lot before I found it. Apparently, we are a real niche. Of course, I second this one. It's funny, you can tell stories, or simply enjoy the roll beat enemies part. Also, you can forge nice friendships around the table. If someone want to start with good, light rules, search for Fate Condensed or Apocalypse World. Chess. Origami. You can buy paper for dirt cheap, and spend hours folding. Yes, and you don't need to buy paper either. I fold all kinds of candy wrappers, mail, old scientific poster, wrapping paper, wallpaper. Recently I started teaching my friends and their kids. It's an awesome way to kill 5 minutes or 5 hours. Reading. Books are generally cheap and nowadays you can even find lots of classics online for free. I get a lot at thrift stores for as little as 10 cents sometimes. Gotta love it. Procrastination. Ouch, why you gotta get so personal? Disc golf. $10 state park pass for the year and then just buy discs. Can get a set for like $30. After that cost, it is just gas to get to the park. There are paid courses but I enjoy the ones at the state parks. Plus that $10 a year I pay helps upkeep on the parks. Scrolled way too far down to find this, or type it out if nobody else had. Most courses in our area are free access in city parks, so you're only out the cost of discs. And if you are new and chat up experienced players, most have a couple old discs they'd happily give you to get started. Right, and you don't need a full set. Sure, a mid-range and a putter is nice but you can get by with just a driver and still have tons of fun. And like you said, most of us have used discs we don't mind parting with. Would rather help get a newbie into the game than lose it in the woods or in the water, lol. Walking. I love walking. I live in an older neighborhood, so I see a variety of architectural styles of houses, and you can see the different lot in property sizes, seeing people's landscaping choices, and really enjoying the changing of the seasons and how the length of day changes, etc. Looking at rocks. Collecting rocks, using sandpaper and labor to polish rocks. I collect pretty rocks. I don't do anything with them, just pick them up and keep them moving around. Maybe I'm secretly a penguin. Cross stitch. Basically pixel art on fabric. You can get a ton of patterns online for free or just a few bucks. And the thread fabric for a first project usually runs $5.10 and will keep you busy several hours. You can buy a beginner kit at any hobby store. It's what I do to unwind every night and I've had some beautiful results if I may say so. Drawing. This. Yeah, art supplies can be crazy expensive but all you need to start is paper and something to draw with. Can be the backside of junk mail and a pencil. Hell, I used a burnt end of a stick and a brown paper bag once when bored while camping. Online tutorials can teach you pretty much everything you want to know. 2. Making environments for tabletop pen and paper games. You can start out very cheap just using what you have. Mushroom hunting. I like to build blanket forts and stuff. Yeah, I know I've kinda outgrown it but I still think it's fun. Hiking. Everyone talks about the best gear and map reading skills but in reality to get started all you need to do is get yourself a semi-decent pair of boots, trail runners and head outside. If you're a beginner, stick to popular trails. Then you can slowly build up map reading skills and slowly get gear if you want to. Fishing. There's people that'll spend thousands but if you have a fresh or saltwater access nearby, it's an inexpensive hobby to get into that'll keep you entertained. Bonus that you actually get something out of it that others can enjoy too. Plus it's covered proof. Knitting is relatively inexpensive, especially in the beginning when you're learning technique and yarn quality isn't as important. Once you learn the basics, you can make scarves and hats quickly and easily. Embroidery. While there are lots of tools and fancy equipment you can get if you get really into it, it's one of the cheaper crafts to get started with. You just need some fabric, a hoop, some needles, and some embroidery floss. You can get started with about $10. I bought one kit to see if I liked it and then used the leftover materials plus a piece of scrap fabric to start making my own designs. Disc golf. Most courses are situated in or around public parks, so they're open to anyone. All you need is 3 discs to get started, a driver, mid-range, and a putting disc. A starter set might be $20. You're good to play around. Mind you, the hobby can get expensive. If you find that you like the hobby, you're gonna want to get discs with better quality plastic that won't warp when you snipe a tree. Different discs for different situations. A bag to carry them all in, etc. But just to find out if you like the hobby, the initial buy-in is remarkably cheap. Reading. Check your local library. They likely lend out ebooks for free and you can read them on your phone if you don't have an ebook reader. There's a lot of crafty skills that can be done very cheaply: embroidery, needle felting, sewing if you're willing to get creative with your fabric sources, and drawing just takes paper and a pen or pencil. Painting can be fairly cheap too, depending on what sort and quality of paints you use. There are tons of free art tutorials on YouTube. Writing. While I have spent money on it, literally just a world building software, I can do it for free. It's a great place to offload all my thoughts and ideas, and it's also really fun to just get into the headspace of the various character perspectives. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.